begins with the Countdown Crew at 6:30 Eastern. That would track, though. I'm mentioning like everybody except me. Let's get into these weekend matchups for championship weekend, starting with the Rams heading to Seattle to face the Seahawks for the third time this season. Let's hear from both sides.
They are excellent defensively, and so we know we have tremendous respect for this group. We know what it's going to take, and those games, you use them as inventory, like what Gerard was just asking. But every single play and every single game is its unique own entity, and we got to be able to handle that accordingly.
All right, I lied. It was just Sean McVay, but he's very entertaining. Dan, how can the Rams offense attack this Seahawks defense?
Well, I think we've talked about this Rams offense in 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight end. And I think it's the place where they are most comfortable getting creative. So what is that 13? So we've talked about it this year. There's that 1 back behind, 3 tight ends. Now, a couple things that stand out. This is the last time they played. Remember, no Devontae Adams. So this is Mumfield up top. And so as a defense, you're sitting there going, well, 3 tight ends. Here comes run game, right? Devontae, no Puka Nacua in the game. And when they go with that ball fake, look at everybody on this defense just run after the run. Here comes this deep sail. You secure the edge. And look at all the space. I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. But because of that presentation and the run fake, you have the middle of the field completely vacated, easy, explosive completion. I want to see Sean McVay. Does he keep Mumfield there? Does he put Puka there? Will that change the reaction of the defense? There's that 13 personnel again, but now Puka's in the game. The tight ends are in a little bit more of those traditional setups. This is where the creativity comes in because Sean loves to run play action or a little bit of flea flicker. And so as a defense, Seattle knows in this look, you're either getting run or some of those chunk explosive in-breakers off play action. Look at the depth that they play with. Then Sean goes, well, if you're going to play with so much depth, and I'm going to get 15 to 20 yards of separation at the line of scrimmage. They love the screen game. They love the tight end screen game. How does Seattle handle that? Because then Sean goes, all right, here comes that 13 personnel, the 3 tight ends. Puka's up top. Ferg is down as a wide receiver, at least alignment-wise. I just showed you the tight end screen. Now here comes the ball fake. It's not going to be the screen. This time, they're going to lift that coverage. Maybe it's a little bit lower, right? The vision a little bit lower. And here comes the big in-breaker. And so this is an offense in LA that really hasn't been one that's been wildly creative this year. But I do think, let alone the personnel matchup it gives Seattle when it comes to those 3 tight ends, I do believe where they are right now, this is when Sean McVay feels his most creative, and I can give you a bunch of different looks post-snap from the same stuff pre-snap.
Dan, the Rams have run 361 plays with 3 or more tight ends on the field this season. That's over 200 more than the next closest team this season.
It's a huge part of it.
They love it. Jarrett Stidham set to start the conference championship game for the Broncos on Sunday, a chance to get to the Super Bowl on the line. He's going up against the Patriots, the team that drafted him. Stidham has not thrown a pass since Week 18 of the 2023 season at the Raiders. And overall, Stidham has made 4 starts in his career. All were regular season starts. That'll be the fewest starts by any player at the time of a start in the conference championship. 1 fewer than Jeff Hostetler, entering the Giants NFC Championship game in San Francisco after the 1990 season. Big Blue won that game. The 3 QBs on the list actually 2-1 in their respective conference championship starts. But as you can tell from the final score, the offenses didn't do much in any of those games. So we'll see what kind of history Jarrett Stidham can potentially make. Jeremy Fowler is in Denver, saw practice today. So, Jeremy, what should we know about the plans for Stidham?
Laura, the Broncos just wrapped up practice seconds ago, and I can tell you that with Jarrett Stidham, they have formulated their plan, and don't be surprised if they let him open things up in the passing game, at least in spots. I've texted with multiple people in the building, and they say things like, quote, super smart, quick decision maker, plays the game with anticipation and accuracy as a thrower. So he'll let things develop downfield, go through his second or third read, try to get the ball deep a little bit. The Broncos are okay with that as long as Sean Payton knows he's not going to take a lot of sacks. In Payton's mind, a sack is as bad as a turnover. So they'll hope for the best, develop him this week, go from there. And then also a source in the building told me, look, we have Sean Payton. That's kind of a common refrain around here. They know they have one of the very best play callers in the NFL. He's great with all quarterbacks. He went 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater as his backup in New Orleans in 2019. So he's prepared for this kind of moment. Quick note, Laura, on the injury front, receivers Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin did have helmets on. They were out in the field during individual drills. We're not doing much from what I saw but that's at least a good sign. And then J.K. Dobbins, the running back, told reporters, we will see about his availability. He's been out since November.
Yeah, they hope to have all hands on deck, certainly to help out Stidham. Thanks so much to Jeremy for the latest there. And the other thing that helps, you got a defense like that, right? If your defense is great, maybe Stidham can manage things offensively and hold on to this. All right, Field, what do you expect the offense to look like with Stidham at quarterback?
Well, Jeremy just mentioned Sean Payton, his play calling. I think this is by far the most diverse offense the Patriots have faced in just 3 playoff games, right? Los Angeles Chargers, Houston Texans, not going to throw quite as many wrinkles at you as I do believe Denver will throw on Sunday. Sean Payton has been doing this for a long time. He's always had something up his sleeve. Jarrett Stidham has not played a game of consequence in a couple of years. What we do know about Stidham is he's got an absolute rocket. He's unafraid to try to throw it into some tight windows there. He's got a lot of confidence as well. And we can do a little bit of following the money here with Denver, too, right? I mean, Sean Payton gets the job. Who's one of the first players he brings to Denver with him? Jarrett Stidham. This past offseason, Jarrett Stidham had some interest from a bunch of teams. Where does he end up staying? In Denver. 2-year, $12 million contract, right? So the Broncos, they weren't planning for Bo Nix to break his ankle in the second-to-last play of the AFC divisional round game, but they did know, Dan, that if something happens to Bo Nix, this guy, Jarrett Stidham, is somebody we feel confident can keep things afloat here.
Yeah, so obviously I know what it's like to be a backup quarterback, maybe a backup, Shady. I think if you're Jarrett Stidham, your mindset's got to be, I'm not supposed to be the person to win this game. No. I've got a top 5 defense in the NFL. I'm going to let them win the game. Yeah. I've got a coach that is a Super Bowl champion and one of the best offensive minds that we have in football. I'm going to let Sean Payton win the game. And so I think if you're Jarrett Stidham, there is a freedom of, I don't have to do anything above myself. I don't have to do too much. I do think Sean will be aggressive. And I think if you watch Jarrett, and I understand it's in the preseason this year, one, he's really good moving, whether it's up in the pocket. Sometimes they design stuff to get him outside on the perimeter. Throwing on the run is really good. I also think he's aggressive with the football downfield. And so if there's opportunities, you're not going to get a cautious player. I think you're going to get a guy that is smart, but you have to go to Sean Payton and be like, you win the game. I'm not. You're Sean Payton. I'm just Jarrett Stidham. You need to let Sean Payton be the star.
We've seen some of these quarterbacks, and I mean, it happened with the Texans, like throw the game away in a lot of ways. I mean, do you think that affects the way that they game plan this a little bit? Just try to be really careful with the football? Or?
No, I think no. Sean Payton's the guy that started the second half with an onside kick. He ain't going to be careful at all, and I don't think he wants Jarrett Stidham to be. Also, New England's offense can be explosive at times. They're going to throw the ball downfield one-on-one opportunities. So I think you cut it loose and go try to win the football game, just like if Bo Nix was your guy.
Phil, we're going to be making all these game picks later on in the week, but you're not going to be here, so you want to make some picks for this weekend?
Patriots, Seahawks. See you in Santa Clara, you two.